It's card number 133 from the 1953 Bowman Color set. It's Willie Puddinhead Jones. Here he is again from those Philadelphia Phillies. A shout out to my buddy and yours, Ed Wesker Griff, who loves Willie Puddinhead Jones and runs the Puddinhead Jones fan club. Just ask Ed Wesker Griff for anything you ever wanted to know about Willie Puddinhead Jones, a fantastic third baseman for those Phillies. Willie is a snappy fielder, it says on the back, and a long ball hitter. He was in 147 games at third in 1952, and he fielded 969, just 1 point off of the top average. He was one of the Phillies' best third basemen for quite a while. And he has a great nickname. So here he is one more time. It's appropriate that we have a Philadelphia card for today's session, for today's Not a Show. It's not a show, guys. Card Room Live is a hangout for fellow vintage collectors. Whether we have guests or not, we're going to waste time looking at and talking about cardboard and all kinds of baseball memorabilia. And as we do, we'll try to make it time well wasted. So if you're here with us live, welcome to you. Welcome to all of my fellow YouTubers, to all the folks from all over social media land and the commenters as well. If you're new, don't be afraid to say hello. You are amongst cardboard friends. Card Room Live is the live stream where everybody knows your name, and if we don't know your name, we'll learn it soon enough. On the other hand, you might be listening to this later. You might be going to or coming home from work. You might be sorting cards or looking at eBay or rolling out meatballs. Maybe you're walking the dog. Maybe you're putting the kids to bed. Maybe you're wondering if Eddie Waitkus will come up, or maybe you're wondering if Willie Puddinhead Jones will come up in conversation. Well, that had already happened. You might be wondering what other kind of Mike Fuller we're going to get into tonight. Whatever you might be wondering or thinking about, whatever you might be doing, I hope you get something out of tonight's session. If you have ideas for a future session or you just want to get in touch, you can email me at bowman53channel@gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram, Bowman53_Alex, on X 1953 Bowman Color, and on Blue Sky Bowman53. And of course, all that information can be found in the description below. This session of Card Room Live is brought to you by the Reindeer Studios Etsy store. And I am wearing a brand new Reindeer Studios shirt that literally just came in the mail yesterday. And I'm wearing it for the first time today. And it's appropriate because I'm working on my Ty Cobb baseball video. And I'm still in the process of that. I'm going to share my screen here for this sponsor, just in case anybody's not aware. Here it is, the Reindeer Studios store. He's a star seller after all, with over 2,200 sales and counting. So you can get your hobby-related gear here. You can get your custom cards that you won't find anywhere else. You'll find T-shirts that your wife and your regular life friends won't understand in the least. I mean, like, really, who's going to know what this is? But your hobby friends will be envious of your T-shirt. Reindeer has a great customer service, and if you don't believe me, there's a really good chance that he's in the chat right now, and you can ask him questions yourself. If Ray Stantz is the heart of the Ghostbusters, Reindeer Studios must be the heart of the hobby. Check out the Reindeer Studios store today, and no, I do not get a paycheck for saying any of that. Scott's just a good buddy. So having said all of that, let's check the chat. Let's check the bar room and see who is in here. Mr. Clean Cheap Shots, Drew is here. What's up? Mr. Wrenchholder, Mike, the sports history collector, is here. Good evening to you, Mike. Ruben Snyder is here. Peter B is here. Stephen with a PH is here. Pastor Craig, Orlando, A Collector's Dream, Peacemaker Cards. The Baseball Time Traveler is here. And Dan, Vintage Baseball PC, is here. That's correct. This is my Phillies hat. And although it is crummy, it is not my crummiest Phillies hat. The Jayhawker Vintage Cards, Mike is here. Called Shot Cards is here. Killebrew 3, Kurt is here, who was on our live stream last Sunday, along with Mike and Stuke, which was a lot of fun. Tony, psyched on baseball cards, is here. Good evening, Tony. Maxa Jackson is here. Mr. Yank Me Card Collection is here. Sandlot Cards is here. Melissa is here. Warren D in the CLE is here. And Puddinhead Jones is the topic of the night. Think Blue 77. Jesse is here. Good to see you, Jesse. Larry is here. Litzy Sports Cards is here. And I think, oh, well, we got to mention this guy. Yeah, the Mets and the Phillies are playing. It's still 0-0. I've got my eye on it, Mookie. If you want to make any sarcastic comments as the game progresses, please feel free. Ranger Studios, don't cross the streams. Nice. 3 shirts from Scott's store delivered on Friday. Well, Jacob is here and the Boston Kid is here. Great to see everybody in here. We have a guest waiting in the wings. And as I mentioned, it was appropriate that we had a Philadelphia card. Now, it wasn't a Philadelphia A's card. I want to show a couple of Philadelphia A's cards real quick just to sort of get us started. I don't have a lot of A's cards, but I do have this 1912 T207 Jack Barry, which I know a number of fellow YouTube and card collectors are a fan of this card. I've had this card for a while now, and it's one of my favorites. And it's probably my favorite from that particular set. And I also have this M101-4 of Mr. Connie Mack, who is holding court in the dugout as he should with his cap in hand. And I just wanted to show these 2 cards because these 2 cards are related, at least in terms of the topic of the night, to our guest. We have a guest that I've been wanting to get on Card Room Live for a little bit now, and we're finally going to do this tonight. This is a collector of a lot of stuff that we're going to get to see tonight. But the thing that jumped out to me was that he collects a lot of athletic stuff, and he also collects a lot of early Philadelphia athletics stuff. So we're going to get to see some of that tonight, and we're going to get to know this collector. So let's bring him in. Here he is. It's Mike. Mike, how are you?
Hey, everybody.
Yes, another Mike. There are so many Mikes on YouTube. And so yet another Mike. Although, Mike, you are not like super active on social media. Is that right?
No, not particularly. Just a little bit on X here and there, but not particularly.
Okay, yeah.
For no real reason, just not.
Yeah. And I met you, and I've been like looking forward to talking to you about this. I met you kind of randomly at the National. Mm-hmm. Do you remember this? Like I forget how it happened. Were you with somebody that I knew, or like how did it happen?
No, we were crossing between the 2 rooms.
Yeah.
And who doesn't know you, right? So we were crossing, and you were with Jason. And so right. I saw you and Jason as we were crossing rooms. I was with a buddy of mine that I drugged there with me. He's a huge collector, even more than I. And I happened to see out of the corner of my eye, so I like pretty much tackled you. And yeah, that was it. That was it.
Yeah, it was that was like such a nice moment because you came up and you mentioned Card Room Live. I was like, oh, that's so cool because I didn't know you, and it's just like really great to hear because you never know who might be in here or like watching it later. So it's cool to meet you, and even at the show, I think you had. I don't know if you had already had some of those items or if you had just picked those up, but I know you had some.
Yes, I had gotten a couple things. I'm moving stuff around that I had shared. They were in my backpack, and I had shared. This is not on what we planned on talking about, but this was something. Let me see if I can. Yeah, there we go, like that. So obviously Melot. And so what was cool about this is it's a rookie picture from 26. It's a type 1. And so type 1 rookie photo, which are extremely hard to find. And the really cool thing about it is you probably can't see it, but the reason they know it's a rookie is because he has a indentation of the patch. And so rookies didn't get their own jerseys. So in 25, there was actually a patch there. And so you could see where the stitching of the patch came off. And so I had probably just purchased that.
Okay.
I was coming out of the room on where that was. And I think that's when I bumped into you was right when I picked that up.
Right. Okay. So Mike, and so after that, I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then we connected on X. And I've on and off sort of chatted with you about trying to figure out a way to get you on the show. And when I asked you, you listed a whole bunch of stuff that you've got that you'd be like willing to share. But the thing that kind of jumped out to me was your Philadelphia A's stuff. Before I ask you some questions about that, you want to share a couple items?
I do, and it's not A's, but I have to because I didn't know. Let's see if I can get it to show. It's kind of okay, right? So the very top signature, I'll get it so that I can. That's Pudd'nhead Jones.
Oh, nice.
No, I wasn't planning. When you said that, when I didn't realize that he was tonight, and so this is obviously, just it's a 50 Phillies, right? Signatures. It has him, Blix Donnelly, Madge McDonald, Constanti, and Del Ennis on it. And so I had to run and quick go grab it.
That's great.
I was backstage because I'm like, well, you got to jump on the Pudd'nhead Jones bandwagon, right? Why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah, why not? So I thought it would be kind of cool to, let me get this out of the way, to show probably one of the most influential, that's not the right word, the most, let me say, one of the most impactful Philadelphia A's, and it's not going to be anyone that people would think. And so this is a W517 of Jack Quinn, which nice. If people are familiar with Jack Quinn. So cool story about Jack Quinn is Jack Quinn was, he was Jamie Moyer before Jamie Moyer.
Okay. Yeah. Say no more. Yeah.
Jack Quinn, 247 wins, really long, great career, but he was in the Pacific Coast League and played for the Vernon Tigers in 1918. And so in 18, World War I, the PCL stopped play near the end of the season. In August, it might have been like the first day of August, it was beginning of August, he signed with the White Sox. And he finished out 18 with the White Sox, but he still really belonged to Vernon, but Vernon wasn't playing. And so what happened was in 1919, the Yankees put a claim in on him. And Ban Johnson, who was very close friends with Comiskey, they were feuding at the time. And that sort of ignited the feud even more because Johnson awarded Quinn to the Yankees away from the White Sox. And if you fast forward, we all know what happened in 1919. And then in most people I think know this, right? In 2020 or 1920, the dust was kind of starting to settle on the 1919 White Sox nonsense.
Yeah.
And there was actually a gambling scandal with the Cubs. And Ban Johnson actually convinced or persuaded Kennesaw Mountain Landis to open back up the White Sox investigation because of his then hatred for Comiskey.
Right.
So Jack Quinn arguably started it all, right?
Right.
Arguably started it all.
Wow.
The Jamie Moyer before Jamie Moyer. So yeah, so here's a kind of a cool type 1 of Kid Gleason, right?
Wow. That's an
first
unusual
year managing.
Yeah.
He's first year managing the White Sox. Now this picture is in 31 with the A's. Got to stick with the A's theme, but he's kind of chummy with Kennesaw Mountain Landis.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah,
chummy. Yeah, he's kind of chummy. So I figured we'd start there.
Sure.
Because how else can you get Jack Quinn in a conversation, right? It's not.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Not liquid, you can do that. So, so I guess we should probably jump to the grand old man, right? So maybe we'll go. Let's do this. Let's do this here. So most people, I'm sure, have seen, right? It's some people love them, some people hate them, right? Because of the pastels. I kind of like it because you'll see I do quite a bit of type 1 stuff. And to me, it almost looks like a type 1. A lot of the type 1s I do are not necessarily portraits per se. And so I like this because it kind of brings me to a type 1, which is the reason why I picked it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a cool piece.
Yeah.
But I mean, naturally, you have to throw a Connie, right? So you all Connie all the time. Really, at the end of the day, it's a cool 1315 Pinkerton blank back.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting about this is if you know the Sporting News supplement, so if I can get them side by side.
Yeah.
Right. So the supplement, right, just took the same image, or the Pinkerton took the same image as a supplement.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
that's gorgeous.
All Connie all the time, right? Interestingly enough, he's a guy that lost more games than he won, right?
Right.
It's like 3,800 losses, I think, over 50 years. 3,500-ish wins and 3,800 losses. He stinks. He's terrible. That's more than he won. I don't know if you can get this. So this is just a handwritten letter by Connie Mack, 1940. Right. So he still had 10 more years to manage. And so let's see this. We would have been in his 70s at this point. So it's kind of.
And what's the nature of the letter?
So this person was asking this, a lot of correspondence, right? Asking for an autograph. Wanted a picture. So regret that I have no pictures with me. That I can send. Pleased to know that you're interested in the ball, the ball club. Quite ready to make a great showing this year, he says. So that's quite optimistic for 1940 Philadelphia, quite honestly. But yeah. So, 1940 A's, they may have had, maybe a dozen people in the stands at that point. We'll do one more, maybe,
sure.
Connie Mack. So here's an R311 leather of Connie with a gorgeous one because the back was stuck. Someone loved it, right? They stuck it somewhere.
Right.
So, but obviously could care less about that.
So Mike, can you give us a sense, like where did your athletics fandom come from? And like, how long have you been at this?
So my first national was Anaheim in, what was it? 91, 2, 3, somewhere around there.
Okay.
So I've been at it a while. My dad grew up in Philadelphia. He was more a football guy than a baseball guy, but he took us to the 83 World Series.
Nice.
We were sitting on the wall when, Mr. Dan Ford decided to hit his home run.
Oh, wow. Are you kidding? That's great.
No. So it's a crazy story. So what this says is I wrote Dan a letter many years later and said, I have your home run ball from the 83 series off Steve Carlton. And the note he wrote me back is, thank you for cherishing it. Was highlight of my life. Please pass it along. I have a college age son. Please pass it along to your son and cherish it forever. It was a highlight of my career. But the irony of that story, I might even have it. I do. I have it over here. So another kind of crazy thing. This guy. So this is the bullpen catcher, John Steffero. He was in the bullpen at the time that Dan Ford hit that home run off of Carlton. I was sitting on the fence in Veterans Stadium with my dad and my sister. And my sister, I'm one of four, but my one sister, I don't even know where my other siblings were, but my sister is talking to John Steffero down in the bullpen during the game. And don't you know, Ford hits a home run, it goes in the bullpen, and he says, if you'll come to dinner with me, I'll give you this ball. You talk about parenting in the 80s. So my dad allows my sister to go to dinner with a baseball player in Philadelphia. We lived in New Jersey. I don't even know how she got there. And so he gives her the ball. Now the signature's kind of faded. It's to my sister and great John Steffero, wonderful. apparently at dinner was Ripken and Murray, but they're not on here. They're not on the ball, but nonetheless, it's still kind of cool.
Wow.
That's kind of what got me going into sort of baseball and Phillies. And my dad used to talk about the A's and how awful they were because he was born in 43, so 50s, right? 50s Phillies, right? Like that's where it was. And so he just got me into really Philadelphia baseball. I didn't even know there was an A's team. And, we just got to talking and then talking some more. And then I just, just started to get interested and inquired more and started reading and learning. And lo and behold, I'm like, well, what about this guy, Connie Mack, Dad? What about him? He's like, oh, yeah, whatever. Let's talk about the Phillies, right? And because the A's stunk. Yeah. It really, that's kind of what sparked it, is really just an affinity for Connie Mack and just what he did and, managing 50 years. Now, granted, at the end of his career, he wasn't really managing a ton, but managing 50 years and then learning about the 29 through 31 A's, arguably, you want to talk 27 Yanks. Okay, fine. But arguably one of the best teams to ever be assembled. Right. And then as we all do, you start going backwards, right? And you start talking about 19, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 A's. You just start going backwards. So it really started, I would say, with this 1983 World Series ball off of Mr. Dan Ford, staying in the family. I even offered to send it back to him. He's like, absolutely not. Like, you got it. You keep it. I told him the story when I wrote him the letter, and he's like, that's insane. You keep that.
And you were how old at the time?
I would have been 11.
Okay, so that's perfect. Yeah.
That was it. That's what started it. That was it.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Let's keep it going. Any other pieces you want to share?
I think let's keep working up the years. So let's go to some postcards. How about that?
Sure.
So let's go 1910, Burke and Atwell postcard. Trying to get it without the glare. So kind of a cool piece, right? 1910. I started to get into postcards. You just don't see them, right? So it's just one of these things that you just don't see them a bunch. It's a postcard back. Mm-hmm. You don't see them a bunch, and it's obviously just a team composite because I'm not a big T206 guy. It's just not my thing. Mm-hmm. What am I going to do if I want Plank, Collins, Bender? Well, and that's what kind of got me in the direction of sort of a team composite. Mm-hmm. Not that there's anything wrong with T206. They're gorgeous. It's just never went down that genre.
Right.
This is kind of a wacky one. This is a recent purchase off of Phil Gary, Friends of Orlando. And I have Orlando to thank for it because Orlando gives him a glowing recommendation. And I just stumbled on Phil here locally. There was a show. I live in Tampa, Florida, and it was here. And I stumbled on him when we just started talking Philadelphia A's. He's like, I've got a postcard for you. And I'm like, sounds great. What is it? And he told me it was this elephant one. So this is 1910 sporty postal card, right? This what's cool is it is postmarked. I enjoy the ones that are postmarked, the used ones. So this is postmarked 1911. And so this came, thank you, Orlando. This came from Phil Gary. Yeah. See, Phil Gary's awesome. He is. He's fantastic. He's fantastic. It's kind of a weird, like it's kind of creepy. Like their heads are inside of the elephant and waving. He's like kind of got this weird like wave. There's two variations of this particular one. And the font on the names, like I'm 52. I need a lot of help reading it. It's really, it's really small.
It feels very much of the era, but then once you mention it and the fact that they're all inside the elephant, it is a little.
It's creepy. It's super creepy. And look at Mac's hand. Like Mac's hand is like, what's his hand doing?
I guess. It's like ta-da.
Yeah. It's weird. I'll do one more postcard. So this is a also 1910. Try to get the glare off of it. So what's cool about this one is this is also a postcard back. It's for Stetson hats. And so I've only seen this one other time but not with this particular advertising on the back. It's Griffin's, the Griffin's success with Stetson hats has been conspicuous for more than 13 years. On September 1st, 1898, we placed our first order, 6.5 dozen, for Stetson hats, and they went in our display window at the old store on September 9th, 1898. Since that time, we have sold many thousand Stetson hats due to the fact that a wearer of a Stetson hat always comes back to us for another. Sure. This was an auction buy, and it was like, I get a little crazy sometimes. I'm like, there's just not a chance that I'm not going to win this. Probably overpaid, but probably don't care. And so just kind of a, really cool 1910 period piece. And again, it's just, how do you get those guys all on, one thing at once? So kind of
sure. We got somebody asking if you have any Connie Mack All-Stars.
I don't. They're, again, nothing wrong with them. Just don't fit me. I tend to type ones, photos, and postcards, and a lot of the black and white, which we'll get into, black and white cards, other than, the pastel we did earlier, right? The 36R12 pastel. Right. But short of that, it's a lot of black and white stuff. Like this is a 21 exhibit of Stuffy McGinnis, which you want to talk about a guy that's all very good. If you don't know a lot about him, he's an awesome lookup. This guy was fantastic. Here he's in a Red Sox uniform, of course, but really cool. And so it's a blank back.
Yeah.
Back. So
isn't he the one that like kind of had a tragic ending? Isn't that him?
I don't know that. If he did.
I'm going to look it up real quick.
Yeah, do that. I don't know that. If he did.
I feel like I heard that somewhere. No.
While you're looking, we might as well.
Oh, wow.
While you're looking. So just not a government postcard, just an index of Stuffy.
Mm-hmm.
While you're looking.
Beautiful.
We probably should stay, continuing while you're looking, with that 100,000 infield.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a Type 1 of Jack Barry.
Look at that coat.
Look at that coat is right. Is that not the coolest thing ever? It's literally why I got it.
Yeah.
Was like, you're just not like, yeah. I mean, it has the elephant on there. It's crazy. So this is Type 1, 1914 Type 1. Can't, again, to me, if I'm going to spend my money, am I going to get, the Connie Mack All-Stars or that Type 1? For me, I love the black and white, there's so much to it. The background, the coat, just everything. So here's an auto of Jack Barry as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Just the best wishes, Jack Barry. We probably should just continue with that infield, just finish up the infield, right? So there's Home Run Baker.
Wow.
Government postcard, Home Run Baker, and then, probably, arguably, the best of the bunch, letter when he was general manager of the Red Sox of Eddie Collins.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, I mean, I like I said, I started with 29, 30, 31, and then just kind of went backwards because you just, as we all do, right? You just kind of try to learn. So this is a Type 3 of Eddie Collins, but what I liked about it was the fact that it's his rookie, right? So it's a rookie picture of Collins, but it's a Type 3. So it was taken off the negative. And so I think I saw Rick Vintage Oddball Cards is on. And so a long time ago, Rick had mentioned RMY. And I didn't know about RMY. It was probably maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And I stumbled on him through listening to him. And so a lot of Type, it's a Type 1, right? So there's a lot of Type 1 photos that I get from them. But this being a Grantham Bain. And so when I read up, RMY does a great job on their descriptions. And when I read up on it, everyone wants type ones, but if you like the image, you like the image at the end of the day. And what was
Sure.
cool about this is that it was off that negative. Bain used his own negative to reproduce it. So from RMY, the thought is that he just touched up his own negative and then just redid it.
Okay.
And so to me, it's essentially the same thing.
Right.
And it's a Grantham Bain photo, which if you're in the type 1 game, it's a cool thing to have.
So we got a question from another Mike. What's your favorite A's auto?
Easy peasy.
Oh, look at that. Wow.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Somebody wrote him a letter, right? Fan letter. And then he just sent the letter back and signed it.
That's great.
I had been looking for the right Jimmy Fox, and this is just so bold and so big. And I just hyper focus on the 2 X's, right? It's a double X,
Yeah.
right?
I was going to say that.
Just to me, that's when I saw it, it just okay, this is the one.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. So
have you figured out what draws you to photographs, and like you mentioned, photographs in like black and white in particular? Like, have you figured out what it is about that
mostly the backgrounds? I'm trying to. So here's another one I'll show you. And this is, it's not, this is one of these. I'm going to use Rick again. He doesn't know how much he inspires me, but he inspires me a lot. And so this one, again, Stuffy McGinnis, right? So here he's actually the manager of the Phillies. But what draws me is the ball. You see the ball?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So this is from 27. So there's a shed behind him, and there's wooden stands. There's spring training. Let's see if the slug. I don't remember. Let's see what the slug. Yeah, it's in St. Pete. So I live in Tampa. So this is in St. Pete. So it's pseudo local. 30 minutes for me. But to me, that's just nuts. And so I probably got this for $30 maybe. It costs more to encapsulate it, which, by the way, to me, the encapsulation is more so that I can
handle it. Yeah.
That's really all that it is. I know it's a type 1. I've come to learn enough about them, but I just like, people come over and I want to show them, or, it's more about that than anything. So that actually costs more to encapsulate than the actual photo cost me. But that's what drew me to that particular photo.
Sure.
Was that
There's
right? Yeah. So here's a circa 20 Mac, which you don't see him without a hat that often, and his hair's dark.
Yeah.
So I said earlier, I'm not a huge portrait guy per se, but this one, I mean, his eyebrows are ridiculous, and he's got that curl. He could be a villain in the 20s, right? With this.
Oh, yes, he looks like a movie star.
Yeah, he's like a villain. So again, it's just the type 1s to me. It's just endless. It's kind of a disease, quite frankly, because it truly is endless. It really gets to be nuts. Let's do one more early, and then we'll jump to errors. And so here's a Ferguson Bakery of McGinnis. Again, I've got to be particular to him just because, you look him up and he was unbelievable. And so, as I think most people know, right, Sporting News image,
yes,
right, also, right, the image on the Ferguson Bakeries, if I got that right.
That's great.
Yeah. So, just you just find this, and I'm like, well, I for whatever reason, it's the black and white and the backgrounds. It finds me. I don't know why. It just finds me. It finds me.
Somebody was asking if it's just A's or Phillies as well, but it looks like you. And here's me thinking out loud. You tell me if I'm wrong or not. But it seems like maybe the Philadelphia A's were more exciting to collect in that era, in the pre-war
Everybody likes a winner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody likes a winner. I mean,
the stories are better.
I like, obviously my allegiance did not transfer to the A's. It was really a Philadelphia thing.
Right.
And I do 50s stuff, right? Like most of us, right? We do 50s and then you start going backwards. That was me, right? I date back to the early 90s and that was me. And so, like 50s A's, I do a lot of Robin Roberts and Ashburn, right? Like they're of interest to me. So I do collect their stuff, both type ones and McGregor's and obviously the Thompson Bowman stuff, like all that. But I like to go backwards, and I stayed mostly with the A's. Not as we looked, like the type one of Ott. Like it's not all A's, but it's it's just mostly. But going backwards in the Phillies, I have some Cy Williams photos. If people know who Cy Williams was, right? Just a ridiculous home run hitter. Gabby Cravath, some type ones of Gabby Cravath as well. So I do some Philly stuff, but the stars of the Phillies back then were few and far between. Right?
Yes. Question from my buddy Max. Brought up Waddell already, but would love to see your favorite piece of him if you have one.
So I have been hunting old Rube for a while, and my money always seems to get spent elsewhere. There's been a few postcards that to me have been perfect for Rube. They just haven't made it home yet. So nothing, only because every time I'm ready to pull the trigger, something else catches my eye, and then it just steers me away. Crazy. And what's interesting is, 1910 was his last year there. I often wonder how he missed out on getting into, this 10 postcard or the Burke and Atwell, right? Mm-hmm. Like maybe he was chasing a tiger. Like, we don't know. Right. So I don't know, but he didn't make it. I'm not sure why. But yeah, nothing. There's some, I had a beat on an 06 postcard. It outpaced me. It's like mercy.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
All right, you want to transition to the greatest team of all time?
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. So we probably should start with, the lineup.
Oh my gosh.
So you've got Bing Miller, Cochran, Mulehaus, this little fella, Jimmy, and then Al Simmons, probably one of the most underrated Hall of Famers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of crazy. This one's kind wow. So this is a 29 also.
Oh,
so wow. Yeah, again, what draws me, I mean, if you could look at this probably, or I could look at it for a number of hours, but maybe 15 minutes, I don't know, you get bored, but you just look at all the, a lot of the players, right? Front and center, Cochran and Fox, Scheib, Thomas Scheib, his wife is right there. You just have a random sheriff guy. I don't know if he got that out of a bubblegum machine. He's got a little badge. This guy's bending out of the way, but are you really out of the way? You have the train guys up here. So this was 29 series, Chicago, Union Station. So this was fun to just research. Okay. Because, I have the stamping of when it was, the date. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute. All right. Yep. They went to Chicago. Okay. What trains were running? Oh, where would they have come in? And
yeah. And was this game one, or can you figure it out?
Yeah, this was game one.
Okay. Yep. Wow.
Well, the first game in Chicago.
Yeah. That's great.
Let's stay with type one since they're all stacked next to me. So there's a 29 team shot, the 29 A's. Just I don't know, this to me looks really uncomfortable. I'm not sure what, the butterfly stretch you do,
Yeah. I was just gonna say I've been doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. And then let me see if I can find him. Yeah, here's Fox above Mac. okay, with the hair. Like, I don't know that I've ever seen that. Like he's got it matted down pretty good. So I just sit here, just kind of stare at this and go like, what the heck? And then there's a whole bunch of people in the background.
Right.
That just, again, I'm just staring at it for hours, just trying to figure out who's where, what, when.
Like it's an hour before the game starts or something.
Yeah. Like what's going on? Like what, like we just gather everybody and just, hey, all right, everyone come over. We're going to do a team picture before we play. Like it's like, what?
Yeah. So haphazard to the way everything's done now.
Yeah. And this is a Conlon Fox.
Oh yeah. That's great.
So it is not the Goudy. It's very close, but it's not the Goudy.
And that happens a lot, right? Because the guy's going to have the same follow through. It's going to, you know.
Yeah. Super close to the Goudy, but it is not the Goudy. You had something on social media. Oh, wait, one more. So this is just a 20s. This is an Underwood, right? Cochrane.
Great.
But interesting thing about this, right? It's all blur. Let me see if I can hold it still. But it's all blurry in the background. So hyper focused on Cochrane. Right? You can really get a good look at him. You had done a X post, I think, of a Wheaties, Garrick. Am I remembering right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I guess I should break that out because.
Hey, all right. Yes, I love those so much. That's beautiful.
Yeah, this again, searching. I wanted one with all the borders.
Yes.
If it had a Mookie pinhole, so be it, right? Because it was hung up. But this one doesn't. It just doesn't. But I wanted one with all the borders. I think yours is framed and it looked unbelievable.
Yes.
So let's do. So this is just this is an Al Simmons type one.
Jason. Oh, great.
This is a good story. And then I'll pause. Aaron, Value Vintage. Jason just popped up on the screen. They're buds. Aaron and I tend to collect a lot of the same stuff on the card side or pseudo card, oversized. I know Jason's a big oversized guy as well as the Butterfingers. But I was bidding on this 1930 554 Grove. Well, not this one, but a 554 Grove. And I lost. And I thought I was strong. And then like the next day, Aaron puts up a video of the one he won.
Okay.
I'm like, are you kidding me? So I was like, Aaron, I didn't know him, but I'm like, Aaron, you're killing me. And so and then I found another, thankfully. The one he has, I think it's a bakery. I can't think of the bakery, but it's got a bakery stamp on the back. This is just a straight blank back. But
Small world. Yeah.
554. Yeah, it's just funny. So I'm like, all right, look, if there's any A stuff out there, try not to kill me, please. Like, do me a favor. I got some postcards we should probably look at, but I'll pause right now.
Yeah, I mean,
we're running through some stuff, so I'll pause if you have any questions or thoughts, and then I'll hit. I got a bunch of stuff stacked right here.
Well, I mean, we've got 15 minutes left, so rather than ask you questions, I just like to see your stuff. It feels like you've got enough to keep going for a while.
Oh yeah, we could make this a number of hours. Let's just do a couple autographs real quick. So I also do checks, right? And so this is Grove, and I have some other Grove autographs, but I think this is the one I like the most, just simply because of the name, right? So you get because it's a check, you get the Robert Grove, which I like, or 58. Sure. So I kind of like that just because you get the full name. This was let's see, we went Chicago, Atlantic City, Chicago. So it was the Chicago before Atlantic City purchase. It's actually a pencil autograph of Al Simmons. And it was like a case of cards, and then there's just an Al Simmons autograph. It's not a government postcard. It's just a 3x5, but it's so bold. It just jumped, and I'm like, nope, that's it. Got to have it.
Great.
Got to have it. You just have to, right? we'll do one more Cochrane type letter.
Oh wow.
With Cochrane. So we do a lot of.
What's the Diamond Stars doing on there?
Somebody thought that this was fantastic, and they put the Diamond Stars. I thought about maybe taking a black and white pencil and making it all black and white. No, I'm kidding. I want to do that. I think that was. I don't remember that. That was a number of nationals ago. There's a dealer at the National that I do some autographs with, and that was a number of nationals ago. This was a national purchase before I bumped into you. So it's a 33 Warsh cigar. So the crazy thing about this Warsh cigar, they're blank backs if people don't know, is this was in the second room. So when you went in the National, if you went left, right where I bumped into you, kind of heading back towards the Chaos area, there was a guy, he had just unbelievable stuff. Somewhat of an older guy, and his case was unbelievable. And I was mesmerized by it. And if I could see if I can do this, this is what I saw of it in his case. It was like, don't mind the Al Simmons, but that's what I saw of it. And it was just sitting there. It wasn't graded.
Gosh.
And I'm like, wait a minute. And so I asked him, I'm like, hey, is that a Warsh Grove? Because I've been looking for one. I'm like, is that a Warsh Grove? And he said, yeah, I think so. Let me look. I'm going, what are you hiding it for? No, I wasn't hiding it. He goes, I just moving stuff around. I'm like, but that should be on top somewhere. So yeah. I'm like, gotta have it. And then I just walk it over to SGC just so I didn't wreck it. And it came back and forth. The grade is irrelevant to me, but I just I didn't want to wreck it essentially. Just being nuts. I saw Rick said he loves the Warsh cigar, so we'll stay with that. So there's a Fox Warsh. I do enjoy them as well. The only thing I think I like more than that are the R315s. So my one and only Beckett EVT. Don't care about the grade. Who cares what the grade is? But I like the thing I like about this Fox over even I think the Warsh Fox is he just looks so skinny in this R315.
Yeah, he does. Yep.
He's almost like he's a toddler. Right? What was he doing? It's kind of like Bonds before Bonds, right? Like is this Fox before Fox? Yes. Like what happened? And so hold on, I just want to come back to if I can find it. Yeah. I mean, you come back to the Type 1, right? He's got his sleeves ripped up, right? And if I put them side by side, see if I can do this. I mean, this guy's that's like his little brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
it's kind of silly. Let's see. I'll stick with the R315s. There's a Simmons 315 again, black and white. Yeah. I just think the black and whites are cool. I don't know. Jason would call this oversized, the R315s. They're a little bit big. They're not oversized. It still fits in a regular holder. Postcards. Do a couple postcards.
Sure.
I have a 315 Grove that I've been sitting on for a while, and I sent it to SGC because I'm like, again, I'm not grading is whatever it is. I don't need stuff necessarily to be graded, but I just like to handle it. So me, I don't want to wreck it because I'm a mess. And SGC has had it for I'm almost 2 months. And so, not super thrilled with what should we start calling them? PSG maybe?
Oh gosh.
PSAG, PSASGC. Like they're turning into what they didn't used to be. Right. Postcard back. So 26 to 29 Simmons postcard. Not used. Again, I kind of like the used. I think they're kind of cool. It tells a neat story. Dan. Vintage PC Dan. He did a really cool story on. He traced out like, forget what it was, but it was like a postcard that traced to someone else, and then he found it was like through a cigar manufacturer, and it just was.
Oh,
like
yes.
I was. Yeah, I don't remember the details of it, but I remember I was sitting there staring at the screen like a mental patient, just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And so,
yeah, I agree. I think the postcards where you
Yeah.
can actually get something from the back are more interesting.
Yeah. So here's I think this is a 28. Yeah, I was going to say 29. It's a 28. It's a blue tint, old SGC, but again, Mr. Simmons again, postcard back, but not, W517s I really like as well. I'm sure that comes as a shock, right? Black and white. So
Yeah,
two different Mickeys. Right, just black and white. So they're the black and white stuff to me is just kind of cool.
Got a lot of black and white fans. It's picking up steam.
Black and white, I don't know what it is, right? Like, so like here's this is from 49, right? So it's a Type 1 Connie Mack Day. Get the Yankees there.
Yeah, I love when they drag out all the microphones in the cable.
Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable, right? So you're like, if you look at this, again, I could spend an hour, and I'm sure I've spent many hours just staring at Yankee Stadium, right? You see the facade up there.
Yeah.
So they did Connie Mack Day at Yankee Stadium in 49, right? So it's just like, if this was colored, okay, yeah, it's probably pretty cool, but I don't know. The black and white to me, it just works.
Yeah, it just I agree.
Works. I want to find one more. Here it is. So one more Type 1. This one I thought was cool. I've got this a long time ago. Grove was probably my first A's. Like, all right, let's just go get Lefty Grove. And I just started looking for more stuff. But what's cool, this is another Type 1. Had this for a long time. Again, I probably bought this before Type 1s were cool. Maybe, they were probably cool to Rick, but not most other people. But this is 3 generations of Grove. So that's his dad and his son. And then I think my favorite part is this crazy lady right here that's kind of photobombing the picture. Right? Like, she's like looking around.
I like the kid's duds. He looks great.
Yeah, right? Like, total period, right? 31. I mean, you think about Grove in 31, right? And so total period, time, his dad, right? Like, just, I don't know. It's just cool. Like, and I'm like, this is a picture to me that I like the fact that you get all the background.
Yeah, right.
The background does it, right? Like, it does it.
Yeah, the environment matters. I agree.
Yeah.
Any last ones, Mike?
Yeah.
Just about out of time.
Yeah, let's hit so people don't think I'm just some crazy nut job Philadelphia A guy that doesn't do anything but Philadelphia.
It's too late for that.
Yeah, where would the fun in that be? It's another letter. Alex, you may not remember, but you saw this because this was in my hand. I had submitted it to get encapsulated. I took it with me very carefully.
Yeah.
This is Ott. Okay. I probably even quizzed you, but the date of this letter here, it's November of 58. And it's originally a 5 turned into a 3. And how do I know that? Mel Ott was in a car accident on the 14th and was in a coma and died a week later. And so it has to be 13. He was in a coma.
Right.
This used to be framed. There's actually a YouTube video on there, Burgandy Collectibles. Somehow it was in Burgandy Collectibles. It ended someplace else, and then it found its way to me. And I took it out of the God lawful frame. And it did have a Type 1. I have a Type 1 of him as well. But I took it out because the frame was atrocious. But even in that, the guy on Burgandy Collectibles, if you look it up on YouTube, he talks about it being November 15th, I think, if I remember correctly. But legitimately, this is quite possibly the last letter he wrote.
Right.
And it's crazy because it says, the person asked him to sign a ball, and he's like, absolutely, just send it to my address. Well, that was a whoops.
Yeah.
The story, right? He got into a car accident with his wife. They were leaving a pub. Who was drinking, who wasn't. 2 big cars crash, and then that was that. So that's kind of a neat thing. I think I shared this with you. I think through text we were.
Oh yeah, yep.
So a little. We like to do Walter Johnson. Who doesn't, right? Like Walter's pretty fantastic. But to me, again, like the T206, beautiful. The portrait, golden blonde hair, like beautiful, right? But for me, this just speaks to me a little bit more. Not to be outdone, right? We got to do a Johnson check. This one is kind of cool. It was encapsulated, and then the guy I bought it from took it out, and I bought it from him out of the encapsulation, and then I wanted it re-encapsulated because I want to be able to share it.
Right.
And this actually is on the PSA registry. And so when I sent it in to PSA DNA, I'm like, look, I don't care about the auto grade. Doesn't mean anything to me. I could care less. But I'm like, I did say to them, and I sent them a note. I'm like, listen, if this doesn't come back a 10, we've got issues because this is on your registry. Like don't screw this up. Right. Like, but again, I don't care. I just wanted it because I didn't want it the same check. It's pretty easy to identify, right? Like I didn't want the same check. Someone go, whoa, that's on the registry. And that's, you know what I mean? So it needed to be back in its original, right, what it looked like.
Right.
So that's kind of fun. Maybe we'll do, what do we got? One more.
But we already have people saying we have to do a part 2 at some point. So.
All right. So it's a Cobb. So it's a 32 Cobb check. This was a purchase locally. And what was here in Tampa? What's cool to me is it's to the Georgia Railroad Bank, but it's for $8,000. It's in 32 for $8,000. I can't remember what it is. I did, like, you go through the inflation, you can figure out how much it is. I think it's like $100 and something thousand check. Yeah. And I'm just going, that's crazy to me. Like, that's crazy. So I like to collect Cobb stuff, but I wanted it because it was an $8,000 check.
Yeah, absolutely.
That to me is kind of cool, right? Like it just sets the stage. I'm like, no, that just, okay, that works. That fits. That kind of fits. So it's not just any Cobb to me. It's just the fact that it's a check for $8,000.
And he was an entrepreneur, and he was really
loaded. Yeah, loaded.
So there's some evidence. Loaded. That's great.
Yeah, loaded. So,
wow, Mike. Like you said, we could probably do this for hours. So
yeah, we can keep at it, but we'll do it another time.
Yeah, we'll sort of look at another part of your collection. But really appreciate you coming on and sharing your stuff.
My pleasure, man. It's drawing inspiration from so many people on YouTube, yourself included. You know, like I'm waiting. If this Cobb video doesn't come out real soon, I may come to your house and force you to put it out because I think it's the best stuff I've ever seen when you do it. You have such a gift. It's amazing, and I just appreciate you sharing it because it's unbelievable. I can't wait for it to come out.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Well, I'll get to work on it.
Please do.
Cool. All right. So Mike, you are on Twitter. But if anybody wants to get in touch with Mike or anything, just let me know, or you can find him on Twitter as well through my channel, through my Twitter handle. But other than that, I hope everybody has a great Sunday. Check out For Collectors here at 9, and we'll see you next Sunday night, everybody. Take care. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.